Hello, this is Elijah here from Victoria, BC. Just arrived last night and have the amazing privilege of having this beautiful backyard to transmit from, preparing for our Jinkies retreat and 64 Names of Love and the Society gathering here in Victoria. And it's time to drink in Jinky 31, Hexagram 31, influence and mutual attraction. It's the shadow of arrogance and the gift of leadership through the voice and the city of humility. And I have to admit, I've been a little intimidated by speaking to this key. I mean, arrogance, what a tricky word and what a tricky concept to talk about. I mean, how arrogant of me to get onto these videos and share anything about the wisdom of life, because it's so beyond even our comprehension. But the power of the 31 that I've been drinking in these last few days is around the influence of words, of the magic of words. You know, we already looked at 62, the other ring of no return, that once we speak something into the field, there's no taking it back. And so it's a powerful initiation to speak, to be witnessed, to share our truth, even sometimes when that truth is our arrogant shadow that needs to be voiced, that needs to have its cathartic release into the world. So the elements here are the crystalline, joyous lake of vitality and bliss that sits atop the mountain of appreciation, the mountain of this stillness, of being here, present in this moment. And that really helps me to understand how to be leaderful, how to be humble in the words that I speak, because it talks about the clear stillness of the lake. So I've been drinking this into my body and feeling in the heaven trigram, the stillness of the lake, the bliss of being still with no agenda, with no plan, with the openness to this moment, rooted in the stability of my body, rooted in the appreciation of what is and what is becoming. Because in its shadow, it's dissatisfaction with stress. When I'm stressed and I have something uncomfortable in my body, I feel like I need to control reality in order to fix it. I'm dissatisfied with what I'm feeling. This is common for the human experience, and I know this in multiple ways every day of just like, nope, this isn't what I think I want. I think I should be somewhere else. I think I should be feeling something else. And I'm dissatisfied with this moment. And it's a tricky thing because the vibration, the sensation doesn't go away because I'm dissatisfied by it. Right? The miracle doesn't happen because we ask for it. The miracle happens on its own. This reality is constantly unfolding the next step. So I've been examining all those places where the arrogance of the mind and of the throat and of the intellect and of the fantasy that tries to create something different from what is. And on a collective level, I've been drinking this in around our culture and around my culture in America, and just like, oh, the manipulation of words, of word magic, to bring people to one side, right? To influence people to your direction, to your side. And you know, I see all this propaganda in a way of different ways that big business or big pharma or oil companies or whatever it is that I perceive as that evil out there that's controlling and manipulating our minds, our consciousness, in order to influence a direction that is harmful to this planet, that is harmful to my body. You know, and you can't fight that dragon. Right? Dissatisfaction is a powerful key because it teaches me that there's no fighting that vibration, that sensation exists. So what is my story around that sensation? What am I creating a suffering victim resistance to what is occurring? Instead of allowing that vibration to be a vitality driving, joyous energy that's actually fueling greater love into the world. And that, I feel like, is the true leaders that are the vitality with restraint. It's not just like vomiting your truth out onto the world, and sometimes there's a catharsis to just sharing where you're at, but the humility, the ability to restrain and voice at the right time, to voice a voice that maybe doesn't always connect with our conditioned thoughts of morality, of good and bad. And in Jungian psychology, the gateway of the initiation of the throat gate is all about realizing that good and evil are just duality terms, that they don't exist in this Siddhic higher plane, right? This challenge of can we live beyond that duality and actually be the creative rebels of who we are, to speak and name our truth, our genius out into the world. And it doesn't mean to be ignoring your impact. In fact, for me, the power of this key has been humbling to my being of, wow, a single word, a single spell, a single thing that I say on these videos or that I say to another person, it could impact and ripple for a long time. And that's humbling. I've had a really strong experience recently where I felt like a decision that I made impacted many, many people in a way that wasn't satisfactory. And I had this, immaturity is my evolution. So I had this moment of like, well, no, I don't want that responsibility to be a leader, for my voice to be heard. I just want to live a good life, simple, and come back here into this sovereign bubble. And I think I said this on a previous video, but the voice that came to me said that true sovereignty doesn't have the luxury of acting alone. Our actions, our words, they do have impact on this reality. We are shaping reality as we speak it, as we create it, as we walk our path. But it's not from that arrogant control of like, I'm in control of my reality. Because reality brings us all sorts of unexpected challenges and gifts to help us unravel and unlock our true nature. But our response to those challenges and our response to that, the joy of life is actually what shapes our relationship to the Dharma as it unfolds. So to not be arrogant is a powerful challenge. And of course in the Gene Keys, we're not trying to get rid of the shadow. We're acknowledging the shadow of influence, of how we control others through the way that we shape our words. And leadership, it has this still lake, that clear lake without agenda. The lake is so powerful because it's so vibrant with life, and the deer that come to drink from its nectar, all the fish and the life and the algae and the beautiful beings that arise from that space of life. But it comes from this serenity, from this calmness, from a reciprocal reality with all of life, where we're no longer separated, where I need to control and do something in order to get what I need, but actually relaxing, restraining, coming into that mountain that actually nourishes, that allows the rains to fill this lake, to fill this empty cup of who I am, this present moment. Humility is that bliss of stillness. Beyond the control, the agenda of trying to fix reality, to fix that dissatisfied stress, there's a recognition that all of life is constantly moving, growing in this beautiful orchestra beyond my control. And if I can restrain and be still and listen from this heart space and speak from this heart space, again, not to force reality to bend to my intellect, to bend to my fantasy, but to respond to what is the voice that is speaking through us, to be an instrument of the divine, to let the wind play the harp of our being without that manipulative, directed control. And this isn't about getting rid of that masculine or linear, way of thinking. It's a powerful tool to be able to sculpt the poetry of our life. I love these throat keys and how they bring the poetry of life to us, through us. But it's, for me, when I speak these videos, it's a way that I contemplate. It's a way that I work through some of the uncomfortable constrictions, victim patterns in my life, and use the genius of these keys, of these hexagrams, and follow their influence, so that it takes me to a place beyond that mind, beyond that duality of right and wrong. Arrogantly, are you gonna love me for this video? Is this good enough for my Gene Keys community? To rest in this stillness and be an influence, not by influencing. It's not a verb, it's to be in mutual influence and mutual attraction in this reciprocal nature of life. So drink in with me if you want. I invite you. to drink in, where can we be still in the mind, still, serene, joyous lake, rooted in the body. No longer taking in the wisdom of reality only through the head, but drinking it into every cell of our being. And acting from that place courageously. The creative rebel is a warrior of the heart. Is the one who has the courage to speak what is not being spoken in our collective field. As a leadership key, it is all about this collective energy has a voice that it wants to speak. And it's just as arrogant to hide your voice when you know a truth beyond yourself. But there is a relaxing of the individuation of the mind. It doesn't deject the individuated mind. I need my individuated ego to survive, to rise, to be an ego worth giving up, worth surrendering. But as the waves of life temper and slowly weather away this mountain of my being, I'm being influenced by all of life and invited to sing my part of that song. So what song are we going to sing together? Because the real leader is rising up through the community, through the collective energy. It's voiced by individuals who have the courage to share their art, to share their ideas, to stand up on the podium and give their prayer to the collective. Because everything we say into the center of anything in life, but especially in these magnified fields of the gathering of people, the influence of people, what we say into that field, it's amplified, it matters. It's this constant paradox of we're not in control. It's a constant surrendering. It's a constantly letting go and shedding of our justifications, of our using our mind to try and figure it out. And yet, there's a gift waiting in that use of the mind to poetically describe what's occurring so that we can collectively use the magic, the technology of language to understand, to connect on deeper levels than language. We do not have to be victims to what language is controlling us or controlling our reality. For me, I'm inviting myself to relax into my belly and allow my throat the space to speak, to sing, to offer up a prayer every time it opens. In Qigong, we call it the magpie bridge, that tongue on the roof of the mouth, and this idea that the only time you should be removing the tongue from the roof of the mouth is when you are speaking or when you are eating, right? And the rest of the time, we keep our sovereign circuit, we keep that beautiful energetic circuit intact, sublimating the energy, constantly circulating the qi, the breath. And then it cultivates something so magical that by the time we open our mouth to share something to the world, it's effortless. It just emerges from the being as a gift, as a sacred offering to the world. And as well as when we take in food, nourishment to this body, what are we taking in? The same mindfulness that we'll explore next week, mindfulness. This mountain has taught us so much about how to respond to life's challenges, how to light that fire from a rooted, grounded space and not let it go out of control. Now at this lake of serenity, at the gathering of all the waters of life. So thank you for joining me in this, and I think that there will be a few more special videos after this weekend to deepen into some of these contemplations. And for all those that I'm about to see this weekend, such love. I'm so grateful to get to gather together in physical. And for all those of my community that were not able or were not called to this particular gathering, you are a part of this gathering. Every time we humans gather together, the hidden influence of this key is 44, that's synarchy. And as we gather together into these constellations of beings, we're opening portals that can affect many, many people, that can influence far and wide from the sanctity of what we create together. And so wherever you are, may you drink, and let it drip into your cells, the influence of life. And maybe I'd love to hear voices and poems and songs and insights about how this key has been alive in your life while the sun radiates this 31. So thank you. Many blessings.